Greetings from downtown Cleveland, Ohio. Today is Monday, August 28th, 2023, about 11:38 a.m. We are here outside of Cleveland State University. Temperature is about 70 degrees, slightly breezy and a little bit cloudy. This is at the corner of Euclid and East 22nd Street. This is the first day of fall semester for students. You can see behind me is one of Cleveland State's buildings. It's actually the newest building that they built. If anyone remembers the old Rascal House and Peabody's and Viking dorms, they used to be located here. The dorms are here, Rascal House further down. And then this is the CSU Student Center. When I was a student here, the bird cage was still here, called University Center. But that only lasted for about a year or two when I was an undergrad student, and I got to witness the construction of this building. That was back in like 2000, I want to say 2009 or maybe 2010 when they finished this building. This is supposed to be like the main hub where you can enter, or visitor center where they hold a lot of events. Like last week there was a graduate student welcome reception, and they were also welcoming all the people who would be inside of residence here. They just put in a Starbucks location right here. Previously it was like a differently named coffee shop, and now it's a branded Starbucks. You can see the Centers for Campus Engagement have a table promoting their things. This is the CSU bookstore. The entrance to the bookstore, since the building was built, was here, but because of the construction of the Starbucks, they actually just carved in a new entrance to the bookstore, which is right here, very much open. And then Chick-fil-A is located over here, although unfortunately it's not fully done. It says opening soon, training in progress. Eventually when it does open, that would be where the food is being served. Previously this was a Chili's location. Even before that, I remember back when it was like a Bar Uno, I think, and they would serve, I'm not sure if they sold the pizza slices down here, but it was a Bar Uno, then a Chili's, and now will be a Chick-fil-A very, very soon. But yeah, this big open space, you may wonder, like, what the heck is that for? Very often they have rotating events here. Like, I know the Office of Research coming up in a few weeks will have a poster session showcasing research from undergraduate students. And then if we go up to the second floor here, well, there's elevators you could take to go from the first floor to the third floor if you wish. We'll go ahead and walk up the stairs. Both the second and third floor give you nice top-down views. The second floor, you can see this is where they would have the Viking Marketplace. Big line on the first day where they would have the buffet for students. During the summer, geez, that line is really long. During the summer, it was nice to get in there if you wanted to do the buffet. It's pretty cheap. And not too many crowds. Hey there.
Hi there, how are you?
Good.
Good. So I'm gonna have this right here for you, okay?
Okay.
This here acts like a punch card for you for the semester.
All right.
And this talks about us like we're having a free slice day on Thursday night from 4 to 7.
Oh, nice.
You wanna spin?
Sure, I'll spin the wheel.
Yeah.
free
There
stuff.
you go. You know where Rascal House is?
Yes,
Yeah,
definitely.
I figured. I saw the grad student on you. I'm like, you've probably been there a million times.
Well, I actually work here now. I'm just representing grad
Okay,
students.
there you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So that's one of the reasons. The first day of the semester, I always make sure I stop by the student center because Rascal House is there, and they give out these coupons. Like, for example, $5 off a large or Belly Buster pizza, free slice of the drink purchase. Oh no, did they take away my sub? There used to be a deal I would use for sub sandwiches. Yeah, it looks like they got rid of my sub sandwich deal. That's alright. There's still plenty of other things, and they're advertising like a free slice day. That's always worth investigating. Now when you're in the student center, there's an interlink going two different directions. If you go that way, you'd go toward main classroom, the science building, engineering building, and eventually the rec center. If you continued going this way instead, it would be following the interlink going toward the law building, class building. Well, it's not really called class anymore. Music and communications building, or the business building and urban building. And you always know if you want to follow the interlink, just keep on looking. You'll have like this green banner that goes down. One-way walk part of it here. The third floor, which I didn't go to, has a big ballroom where they host various events throughout the semester. Oh, and here's a little map of the interlink. So right now we're in the student center. If we keep on going, you go to the music and communication, law building, law library, business building, and urban building. If we go the other way, they call it Berkman Hall. That's what used to be called main classroom, science and research building, science building, Fen Hall, recreation center, and then the east garage. We'll get to that later, but that is the student center plaza, and then the library would be over there, as well as Big Roads Tower, probably the most iconic building in CSU. And then this is along East 21st Street that the interlink is going over right now. But back when I was a student, the interlink was always really nice because if it was a super, super hot day, most of the way you're air conditioned inside, and then also if it's a rainy day, or especially in the winter time, you're just protected and you can get from pretty much every building on campus. Even if you want to go over the library, there's not an interlink there per se, but you can learn to traverse the buildings. Like you can go into Berkman Hall and then go walk under the underpass to still stay protected. So a lot of the interlink in certain buildings, you're only really passing by offices of faculty, the actual classrooms and such, maybe on the first floor or third floor. You gotta just keep going. I mean, we have passed some classrooms too. In this building, they're not so evident which ones are offices and which ones are classrooms. You can see part of the outside. The police building would be right over there next to the law building. And out here there's a nice courtyard. We're going to walk outside a little bit later to experience that. I actually do remember the construction of this portion of the law building too. Got a little shop called The Link here if you want to grab some small snacks. Now, if you want to continue into the law building itself, you can go that way. But we're going to continue through the innerlink. This is the law library right here. You can go down to the second floor and see the entrance to the law library there. If you go down to the first floor of the law library, there's an exit. It will take you out on the East 18th Street. There's the overlook of East 18th Street. There's Chester down that way. And then Euclid Avenue right there. So CSU most of the time is bordered between Euclid Avenue and Chester as we're entering the Montehuja College of Business. This is where I spent a lot of my time as a student because I was a computer science student. Now the computer science student has since moved to the engineering building. There's the Weston Ideation Lab. You can see they list where all your places are located. So floor 3 still does have information systems. My very first job as a student worker, I would go down this hall and then keep walking. Yeah, then again, these are all faculty offices. Yeah, when I was a student worker, I would go all the way down there at the end of the hall and then make a right turn, and that's where my office was located. I was doing website design for the department. So the innerlink, once you get here, you're actually going down one level. You can see they've got nice atrium here, artwork in the middle. If you go all the way down to the basement, I assume it's still like this, but there's a computer lab down there. So business students would be utilizing that. And then along the second floor here, all these rooms here are classrooms. So classes in session already for a lot of those. Same thing with the first level. And then there are some rooms on the basement level too. Well, some of the stuff has changed though since I was here. Like this right here says Property Managed Center. This used to be like an open study room where you could just go in there and study. And I think at one time they had advising in there. If you want to continue the innerlink, you can just walk around this hallway. Here's a classroom not currently being utilized, but type of classroom that I remember doing some of my computer science ones in. I would always sit like in the back on one of those chairs. And then this takes you into the urban building. You could take the elevator down to the first floor, but technically if you want to stay with the interlink, you just walk the perimeter here. And eventually it leads you to a staircase. It's like a smaller version of the business building with the atrium here. I know, I'm not showing every floor, but it would be kind of redundant to go up and down and show each floor. So hopefully you're getting a vibe of what the specific buildings look like. But as I'm walking along, you may notice certain things like this table here. As a student, I would always try to mix up my study spot. So like even though I may not have been doing studying in the urban building, one day a week I would come and sit at like that spot there and pull out my computer and start doing work, because I always thought the change of scenery helped me like focus and keep things fresh instead of being in the same spot all the time. So I would be there, sometimes I'd be in the business building, sometimes I would even go to the rec center, and even if I wasn't playing that particular day, I would go at one of the tables that were near the racquetball courts and start utilizing the laptop there. So when you exit here, you've got East 17th Street and Euclid. By the way, at Playhouse Square, all the theaters just finished putting up the new facades and LED boards, which look very beautiful. So you're right on the border of Playhouse Square if you're coming to CSU. This building here, called the Lumen, is a fairly new building to the downtown Cleveland area. Yeah, that's a great thing about CSU, is you're really immersed in downtown Cleveland and all the restaurants and attractions that it has to offer. If you go down East 17th Street, there is a parking lot that you can go to that's a part of the business building. Now over here is the Edge. This was constructed years ago, but initially it was an independent place. I believe CSU has now taken it over as part of their student housing. You can see the outside of the business building, a lot of land. As far as restaurants on campus, I'll try to point out some of that. There's the innerlink we were walking to get from the law building to the business building. But to our right across the street, there's a Subway. There are some things that are changing, because you can see a sign there for Boney Barbecue Fingers, but that just exited that location about 2 weeks ago, so there's nothing there now. Previously was a Pizza Pan for the longest time, but that left during the pandemic. You remember earlier I picked up the coupon for Rascal House, the actual Rascal House location, if you want to grab pizza or fries, or they make a nice meatball sub and burger. It's right over there where it says Rascal House. This building is also part of Cleveland State University. I can't say exactly what they have in there now, but I know there's certain offices. I want to say counseling might be located in there as one of the things. Marino's Hair Cutting is also located there. There's a food and beverage store there. That's where I go to get lottery tickets if I'm on campus. Now this space here has always been kind of a nice little courtyard area. But this right here was just completed over the summer. They now have the long ship here Monday through Friday. It's the food truck, and I've tried it about 2 or 3 times, and the food's pretty good. But they also added this nice outdoor seating, which creates a pleasant vibe, and I've seen a lot of people utilizing it. So that's always encouraging to see. Also across the street there on Euclid, there's a place called Casa where you can make food bowls along the line. And then there's Bon Appetit. They're both, it's like two different places, but they're in the same like location. And Bon Appetit, I know I tried, they had a chicken parm, and that was tasty. So a nice place to go. When I first started coming here as a student, there was buildings here. They eventually knocked it out, and it's another nice green space. And you get a view of the Wolstein Center, which is used for men's and women's basketball games. And then located right there, Tailgate Sports Bar and Grill is the newest place to go in there. That used to be a Burgers to Beer location. And then there used to be a place called Enjoy next to that, which used to be a Jimmy John's, but both of those have departed. It was sad to see Enjoy leave earlier this year because they made some very delicious food. You can see here there's letting people pass. There's a nice green space. Sometimes you'll see certain events taking place here. That would be the Music and Communications building we were going through earlier. You can see we're circling back. That's where the Student Center is that we first started off the video at. Over there on Euclid is Brothers Printing. Then University Lofts. There is an Amazon pickup location. And then further on that corner there's a pulp juice bar and Bombay Shopped, an Indian food place. Here's some nice landscaping. It spells out CSU with the red flowers accompanying it. This is a one-way street, so pretty much if there's no traffic immediately coming down there, you're safe to cross. So let's go check out the Student Center Plaza. Gotta walk alongside the stairs here. Not too many people use this end, but so they don't have to backtrack. It makes it more convenient to go this way. That's one of the things from being a student here back from 2007 to 2012. 5 years, and then working here for a long duration. You kind of learn all the different paths and shortcuts. And I even joke about, you even learn where the best water fountains are. Like in the law building, on the first floor, there's a certain water fountain that always has super ice cold water. Here's the Student Center Plaza. Especially at the beginning of the semester, you're always going to see a ton of students outside. Well, I don't know if you want to call this a ton, but it's nice to see the students outside, because as the weather gets colder, you start seeing less and less people wanting to hang out here. Would it be in the first day? Good to see the big crowd. Various different seating arrangements. That's a water fountain over there, even though the fountain isn't currently active. Here's the Michael Shorts Library. This is what I was talking about, how if you wanted to walk protection in the winter, you can get from point A to point B without worrying about weather. 1 second, because I'm going to be selective how I film here. So I popped up to the second floor. Much different than when I was here. They have something called the CSU Math Emporium there. And then there's some tables over there. And then for some reason, temporarily closed. They must be doing a little bit of reshelving. These are quiet cubicles. I would always mix it up, and you can, they're not reservable, but you can go in there and grab a cubicle. They changed it. Well, I wonder if your CSU ID works with it. Maybe they just made it so you could swipe your ID. But if you're a student, yeah, you should be able to. Oh, no. Increased security. They now have keys that you need to use these. So that's a little bit of a change. Yeah, but plenty of study room. You can also take the staircase to get to the third floor. I wanted to show this. This is like one of the best hidden gems at the university. This love letter to Cleveland mural. Whether you're familiar with Cleveland or not, this is like a great thing to see and pay attention to all the people who are on it and learn some new things about the city. I did do a full-length featured video on that before. And we'll check out the fourth floor. The fourth floor did not used to be a quiet floor, although generally you still keep, your voice down a little bit. Yep, see, group study the entire floor. Plenty of tables. This is still the same as when I was a student. You can sit there and do your group study and all the books here. And then up ahead they should have some more general study space. A little atrium where you can go outside too. I think that's enough of a glimpse of the library, so let's go ahead and head back outside. So let's go ahead and check out, well, if you want to return a book during any time and not actually go in, you can do that there. Let's check out a little bit of main classroom. Main classroom's another building where it's tough to really I could do a walking tour of the whole thing, but I think I'm just going to show a glance of it. And there's multiple entrances. You can enter from Chester, from Euclid, from here. Right there's another entrance. This first level of main classroom is fairly new, but it's still probably like a decade or longer old. So some more seating space. And then if you go over here, I don't think this one's open yet either, but this is supposed to be where the new barrio is going to be located. It used to be for a while Papa John's and a chicken strip place. There's another computer lab here. This first level is not like classroom based. If you went up the stairs there to the second level, third level, and fourth level, That's where it would be all classrooms. There's a Huntington Bank located in here. If you continue going down this way, to your left is campus all-in-one enrollment services, and they've got the parking and transportation services place. I can guarantee you why this place up here is loaded with people, because this is where the Viking card office is, and a lot of people are trying to probably get their CSU ID for the first day. And some various other things like TRIO, academic advising. That would take you back out to Euclid. I want to give a small glimpse of the classrooms in main classroom. So you'll have a lot of majors in here, but since I was a business student, I always thought this building would contain classes that weren't business building, like some of my math classes or psychology classes, English classes. When University Center was here, that's where the old Interlink used to be, to connect to University Center, and then the Student Center Interlink was built further on down here. Yeah, so earlier when I was talking about the Interlink, it would have been over there, so we're kind of continuing that. You can see right here, there's an example of one of the classrooms. That's a big lecture hall there on both ends. This used to be solid, like there was nothing here, and then they hollowed it out and made it so you could walk directly through instead of having to walk around. But yeah, just imagine this building all along has classrooms on the second, third, and fourth floor. This is one of the science and research buildings. A little atrium there.
Yeah, so I may not need you because there's a lot of other people that applied. So is that, I mean,
Department of Biology, Geology, and Environmental Sciences. It's more of the Science Research Center down there. This building at its foundation is still the same from when I was here, but they have made some, big time paint jobs and some newness. Like this here is a new area that didn't used to be like that. I'd imagine all the floors in this building are pretty similar, with classrooms and labs. And if you make a left turn here, you get to Fenn Hall. This was the original engineering building.
that would be a number of different.
We're getting very close to the end of the interlink. So So innerlink, normally I would go that way to go to the CSU Rec Center, but I'm going to show this new edition called Washkowitz Hall. This is the newest building on campus. So very modern. Once we turn the corner here, you'll see a little bit of it. With the labs, teaching space, and whole infrastructure of this building is nice and new. I thought it's always cool how they purposely have like all the network cables and other cables visible. So you can see there's an innovation lab right there where students are learning, and then down in the lower level there's some more lab related things. And then if you come outside, you are now at the CSU Recreation Center, state of the art for a long time now, and where I'm headed right now, why I have my gym bag with me to go ahead and play some basketball. I'll try to pick up the video after lunch around this spot. I mean, I don't know if I'll probably try to show a brief clip of the basketball courts too. Nice welcome to the Recreation Center. So right after you enter, if you look to your left, you've got some racquetball courts, air hockey, pool, locker rooms are located on the right. Further up ahead is a general purpose gym. You could play basketball or soccer or even pickleball in there. Up there is going to be the basketball courts. And then throughout the gym, there's a lot of course, weightlifting equipment, but there's sometimes you just don't want to do hardcore activities. You can do ping pong here. There's a Xbox you can rent out there. I think around the corner might be a Nintendo system that you can rent out as well. And on the second floor, you got the big ass Recreation Center gyms, where oftentimes you'll see 2 full court games being played. They actually just redid these courts in their entireties. Like for 3 weeks, they broke them down, put new wood in, repainted everything. You can see they got the nice Cleveland skyline over there. So yeah, this area is always a treat. See, got the name up there. Chris signed up and ready for team number 1. Go ahead and gotta get changed. I did have my shirt on them, but I gotta get these jeans off for a second. Gotta run the locker room area here. Well, the locker room's on the first floor, but right now they're still doing construction on that to finish it off. They're putting in brand new lockers for like the first time in 17 years. Alright, already got my old basketball. I've been using this ball for like 7 years probably. I have a new one in my office, but this one still works good enough. But around a little bit after lunchtime, you usually see a pickup of activity. Finished playing basketball, so I was about to head outside, but before I do, they have a Olympic-sized pool that is available for students to use. So I know that's one of the big draws to the campus. That door was locked. Alright, so there's 2 different ways I can go to finish. I can either go that way, or back toward Euclid Avenue. I think to start off with, I'm going to walk toward Chester here. And I'm not necessarily going to walk all the way down, but I'll give a description of sorts here. So these are called the Langston. They're more student housing that CSU owns. Originally, just like the Edge apartments earlier, all these Langston locations were independently owned, and then CSU, I believe, has now taken them over. And none of this was here at all when I was first a student. These were, I believe, partially empty parking lots, and there might have been one building that used to have the art gallery in it. And then further on down that way is the CSU tennis courts. And you know what? I was thinking that I wasn't going to show it, like walk all the way down here, but now that I'm thinking, how can I do the video without showing the CSU tennis courts, softball field, and soccer field? So I guess I'll do the walk. This is the outside of that new engineering building that I was showing before I went into the rec center. So on the lower level of Langston, not on this half, but on the half going that way, there's a few more dining locations. Downtown Nutrition, Pita Wraps, Yum Village, Pizza Hut. There's a Bank of America location, Joe Max Coffee Company, and Arby's. There used to be a time when a lot of those places weren't filled out. Actually, where it says Pita Wraps, it might say available, so the Pita Wraps might not be there anymore. But the rest should be. This would take you back up by the Science and Research building area. And then this is the street level on Chester of Berkman Hall or main classroom. So Rhodes Tower would be just after East 22nd here, heading westbound. So Rhodes Tower will peek out right above us. East 22nd is one way going northbound. East 21st is one way going southbound. So know that if you're navigating traffic around the university. And if you are taking buses to and from campus, and for example the Cleveland State Line, which comes from either the Lakewood area or Crocker Park or Bay Village, depending on how far out you are living. The final stop, well, it does make a final stop close to the Wolstein Center, but the final stop on campus, it turns on East 21st Street, and underneath this area it has a stop. And if you're looking to pick it up after school, on East 22nd, almost right up against Euclid, that's where you would catch it to go home or go westbound. I don't know which buses go eastbound from CSU, since I'm a west sider. So even though this is Rhodes Tower right here and the Michael Shorts Library is over there, this little building, it's connected, but this little area here is called Rhodes West. There are some classrooms in there, and there's also a few things like the Career Center and Testing Center. You can see the sign here, Career Services, Testing Center, Office of Disability Services. So over here is the Medical Mutual Pavilion CSU tennis courts. Obviously you can't see the tennis courts themselves, but they are covered and protected underneath those pavilions. Now I am not sure what the policy is for student usage of those. Like, I don't know if you get free usage because I never used it myself. I do know, as a community member, you'd have to pay rental cost. So that's something, if you are a student or interested in here, you'd have to find out whether students have to pay for that or not, because I'm just not sure. Yeah, this is up year round. So if you're looking for outdoor courts, that won't help you, but it's nice that during the winter time this is available. Right after the tennis courts is the girls softball field where they play their home games. CSU does not have a baseball team anymore, and when they used to, I think their baseball team was somewhere on the east side. You can see they're nicely cutting the grass right now on the softball field. Now this one and the soccer field is not for, like, if you're a student, you can't just hop on and start using these. The softball field is strictly for the softball team, and then Krensler Field, the soccer field over here, mainly for the soccer teams that play for CSU, but they do have recreational, like, clubs and flag football events and various other things that take part on here. Even though the gate's open, I'm just gonna stay back here. I think usually it's closed. Yep, there's the soccer field. Especially during this time of year, once the soccer team or other activities start going, you'll see games and promotions being run to encourage students to gather here. So that's a nice group thing to do. The College of Business that we mentioned earlier is over there, and I talked about a parking garage that would be up against Chester and kind of the end of CSU at East 18th Street. That's what you're seeing right over there. Well, let's go back, and I guess since I'm over here, I might as well walk through the courtyard area of the Langston, kind of show where that's at. Because my intent of this video is anyone across the country who might be interested in CSU, or who has maybe students who are going to CSU but they're out-of-towners, they could be looking at something like this. And by that I mean, if you're, say, living in, I don't know, Florida, and your student is going to CSU for college, and you're wondering, like, oh, how does the campus look? Or maybe they're even living in the Langston, and you're like, oh, what does that area look like on campus? Maybe this will give you a glimpse of it. Now, I know I've been going on this video for a while, but obviously anything I'm commenting on doesn't represent CSU. This is just my personal experiences, but I will say I am always a big time advocate and love CSU, so I would fully endorse and give high praise to anyone looking to come to campus. If anyone has questions about my personal experiences, even though I haven't been a student here for over a decade now, I still think I have a decent grasp of the neighborhood. I really just liked that it was immersed in downtown Cleveland. And during my 15 plus years around the campus area, I've seen a ton of growth. Like I said earlier, this used to not be here. The engineering building is new. I've seen the student center go up, pavilion, and various other projects. I know in the future they are thinking of maybe getting rid of the Wolstein Center and building a new basketball arena that would be located somewhere down this direction. Yeah, so you see the Langston isn't just along Chester. They have some more housing tucked in back here, parking lots. I can think back to my time as a student. I used to always look for an event calendar called Weeks of Welcome. It used to be 2 weeks. I think now it's 1 week, where there's various events around campus that are simple but help you feel engaged. Like I think yesterday the CSU Recreation Center that I was just at was hosting a CSU green party where they were giving out for students green bucket hats, food vouchers, and just had general party activities going on in and outside of the rec center. Sometimes you discover new things. I never knew that they had a Pizza Hut and Arby's employee parking only for like 5 spots dedicated there. Another new thing I've never come across is that they have some seating over here as well as a outdoor grill. A nice spot to just hang out outside. I won't say that crime never happens here, because obviously you always have to be alert and on guard. But I will say, in all my years on campus, I personally have not been the victim of like harassment or crime near the CSU campus or in downtown Cleveland for that matter. And my vibe has always felt very safe around CSU. I've never been concerned about that. But with that said, I know there are, at nighttime, just because it's more isolated in general, you have to be aware, as you would anywhere. And CSU also has this nice program where you can call like a safety escort at any time. If you feel shaky or uncertain about something, you can call that safety escort. They'll come and pick you up and take you from one spot on campus to another. So down that way, see on top of the building where it says Cleveland State University Fenn College of Engineering. That's just an old wind turbine that's up there, but that building itself is home to the plant services at CSU. If you're a student, it's not really something you need to know about, but things like property control, property surplus, certain facilities. I think the water might be located there too. Like the water that serves the campus, if I'm not mistaken. So we made a big square to wrap around. to the outside of the recreation center again. That would be that innerlink. If you remember earlier, I walked to the engineering building, but I said you could continue the innerlink into the third floor of the recreation center. And eventually, if you take that, there's a parking garage on the opposite end of the rec center. They've got bike racks here, some bike tools. Does get utilized fairly often. Always good to see bikers. The building that's straight ahead of us is Fenn Tower, the oldest original building on campus. So I think that used to be the Fenn College, later converted to dorms, student housing. Over here is the physical education building. So the Woodling gym is located there. The access to the swimming pool is there as well. It's also adjacent to the rec center, although you can't directly get from you can't enter the rec center directly from there. You have to kind of weave your way around. Underneath the physical education building are some classrooms and offices related to I feel like it's more like the sports, exercise, science stuff, but I'm not 100% certain. I know I've gone down there a few times because CSU would offer at times free biometric screenings that you could use for employee health credits. So I would go down there and student assistants would quickly take my biometrics and get the results. This is Jolka Hall, one of the colleges on campus. It used to be called the College of Education and Human Services and School of Nursing. And if I had to guess, predominantly those type of classes are still in there, but CSU this past year underwent kind of a shift in some of their colleges. So College of Education sort of merged with the urban college a little bit and has been renamed. School of Nursing got merged into a new college called College of Health, which borrowed some areas from science. So a little bit of the signage does need to be updated, but it's not too much of a hassle. They'll get around to that. Home of the School of Health Sciences. So how I was saying that some of the stuff from physical education goes underground, I would take a staircase that would go underground in this way, so it's probably another entryway. And that would make sense, health sciences to be sort of the sports, exercise type of curriculum. Down below the Jolka Hall, another courtyard. I know you don't see a ton of people, for example, taking advantage of this, but see how much greenery and courtyards are on campus. I absolutely loved, and hopefully students will, as the semester goes along, take advantage of the various spots that the campus has to offer. That's such a relaxing spot if you have a couple hours in between classes and just want to relax. Just hang out there. Up ahead here is Mather Mansion. I know the alumni office is in there. I'm not sure what else is in there currently. But this is one of the original Millionaires Row mansions on campus. Samuel Mather Mansion. It's turned out to be a beautiful day at CSU. Just gotta grab a quick picture of that. At times in the past, CSU has had events on this little lawn here related to the alumni. And again, back there's benches that you can sit on and relax. This bridge here signifies the end of the CSU campus on the eastern side. Once you cross over that bridge, that takes you further down Euclid, and if you really kept going, you can go by University Circle And speaking of fun perks that are at CSU, you have the Health Line. There's about 4 spots on campus, 2 going each direction. So if you take the Health Line, which if you're a student, every student is given a U-Pass, you can ride the RTA bus all semester for free. Well, for free once you have the pass. They charge, I think, like $25, $35, I can't remember, to your tuition bill. But then, you know, that's a bargain, because otherwise for the whole semester that would be like probably close to $300 or more. But anyway, if you have that U-Pass, you can ride it down to University Circle, for example. And say if you have a class early in the day and a class later in the afternoon, you're looking for something to do, you can go to the art museum. You can go to the various other museums down there. You can take a trip down to Little Italy. I have a ton of videos that have focused on things to do in the Cleveland area. So check out some of those if you're new to Cleveland State and trying to figure out things to do. I always try to take advantage of that. A lot of the classes, especially in my later years, may have one class at 10 o'clock in the morning, and your next class might not be till 8 o'clock at night. Now, if you're working, you know, that complicates things because you get your work schedule in, but if you have downtime, you know, take advantage on things besides campus too. Campus itself offers a lot, but so do the things you can do in between and really create a memorable Cleveland experience. Now, these are the Euclid Commons, which are CSU, more CSU housing, the final CSU housing that we'll be covering. There's another nice little area here where you can sit down. There's grills there. And then the Euclid Commons extends to the other side of the street too. Let's go back up to Euclid. And then we'll pretty much have covered the CSU Fall 2023 tour. Oh, I should mention, I guess this is probably open now. Brand new, it's called the Market on Euclid. It's a grab and go location. I believe it's similar to the concept of how Amazon has some of those go stores where there's no cashier, but like you scan it in the app and, you know, basically pay for it electronically and then go. You know, I don't know I mean, somehow they keep in checks and balances so people aren't just like stealing stuff, but that's a new location on campus to grab and go. Coming soon, they're going to make a new restaurant called the Viking Public House, which will be located right here. This is also the Parker Hannifin Administration Building, so the top units at the university, like the president's office, provost office, probably, I think, human resources controllers, various other business things are located in there. You can see the construction they're doing. They actually expanded this patio because it used to be a place called Elements that was located there as the dining location. Now they're going to make it bigger. And then this final building here is called Parker Hannifin Hall. Similar to Mather Mansion, it's one of the original millionaires row houses. Right here is the Viking Vets Veteran and Military Resource Center, another Subway, and then a great breakfast and coffee place called Cafe Aroma. that will wrap up our tour. As you see, we're approaching where we very first started the video. Guess I should mention there's a Trinity Commons church here too. That is not part of CSU, but it's on the kind of on the CSU campus or right next to it. But if you enjoyed this tour of CSU for fall semester, hit that like button, subscribe, and we will see you next time.